Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back, a day later than I thought it might be, here to Sunless Skies. Thank you so much to all the people who are kind and generous about me needing to take a day, and to everybody who wasn't, hey, what's your problem? No, don't look away from me. What's your problem? What's your problem? Oh, now we're in that weird space where the bit has gone on too long and everybody's starting to feel uncomfortable. And if we just push through, maybe it'll get funny again, like everything that's ever been on Adult Swim. But maybe we ought to take a hard left turn here and just play the video game. So we have a lot of stuff that we need to do. I've opened up these particular quests from our journal because these seem to indicate direction. We need to finish checking for evidence of our host's identity here in New Winchester, and then we want to go to Lustrum, and then we want to head back to Magdalen's both to turn this in and to deliver that package that we picked up at the waypoint to Albion. So I think that's our goal for right now. We also still have the settler who wants to go to Trader's Wood, and they said they'd like it if we put a rush on it. That's going to be somewhat hindered by the fact that I don't even know where Trader's Wood is, and they're not telling me. Look at this. These guys were like, oh, Lustrum's east-northeast of New Winchester. That's a fulfillable goal. This guy has given us no actionable intelligence. But we also have another problem to solve, which is the problem of just having too much money. You ever have that problem? Yeah, me neither. So a helpful commenter by the name of Iselan, who I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, pointed out that the level 2 cannery system not only gives you the butchery skill, but also gives you 4 points of hold. That's extremely obviously the correct choice, except that we don't have the 25 iron necessary to operate it. Our character is so weedy that even with the help of the entire crew, we still can't quite make 25 iron happen. So, bad news for me. The second most obvious thing, then, is to just pick up more hold, right? I think that's probably the play, but we can't quite afford the advanced, the level 2 hold, and it feels silly to buy the level 1 hold if we're just going to have to come back and sell it off and get the level 2 anyway. So I think where I've come down on this is we're going to save just a little bit more and pick up 8 extra slots of hold, because we're really going to need it, right? We need the extra space pretty badly. How close am I to a level? Not. Okay. If we could have leveled up easily, then maybe that would have been the right thing to do and just try to take a background that'll push our iron a little bit. I think it's perfectly in character for my iron to be low, but, you know, sometimes you make gameplay trade-offs for the sake of, or rather you make character trade-offs for the sake of gameplay. But I think the way we're going to end up here is we're just going to save up a little bit of money and then go get this. So, let's do the things that we got to do, the one thing that we got to do before we leave here. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, I should be paying attention to this. So, in order to begin writing the Song of the Sky, we must, first of all, have the ambition. Secondly, acquire 7 Tales of Terror. And finally, acquire 7 Sky Stories. And we actually already have 3 of those. I'm not 100% sure where to get Tales of Terror. Maybe the best thing for this would be, like, fighting scary monsters. Maybe we should try to find one of those spooky giant ghosts. Because not only was that like a man-shaped ghost flying around, but it was the size of a train. It was, without its lower half, it was the size of a train at least. I have serious concerns about that, but, you know, fighting one would certainly be a tale of terror. So we'll keep an eye out for sources of sky stories and tales of terror. And we shall explore the city and look for evidence of our host's identity. A titan of industry? Those are rare outside of Albion. The initial search is fruitless. People giggled at the antiquated fashion on display in the daguerreotype. The tilt of the jaw, the unfortunate arrangement of hair. People seem to talk about his hair a lot. But the proprietor of the round table seems to recognize the face. Oh, yes, right sod he was. She holds up the locket to catch the falling starlight through a window. Wanted to open a factory here a few years back. Something went wrong and there was a workers' revolt. Not been seen since. Okay, nothing definitively conclusive is not how I would put it. That seems like something. But alright, at least we checked. What else do we have available here? A persnickety factor requests a meeting. A neat calling card was waiting for you at the station. The paper was scented, the envelope ironed. Alright, well, let's have a look here. The meeting takes several days to arrange. She rejects the Round Table as a venue, and all of the cafes in the Upper District, even that nice tea room under the bridges. Eventually, you agree upon the parlor at Company House, which is open to visitors on a Sunday, and then we had to wait for Sunday. The pernickety factor requests you change table 3 times before she is satisfied. I'm looking for several disappeared colonists. I believe their destination was Hybris. I'd be much appreciative if you were to take me there. Yeah, all right, welcome aboard. We are headed to Hybris at some point. Did she not pay me? She didn't pay me. All right, well, she'll pay when we get there, I guess. I don't know that we... Yeah, I guess we should visit the Promise of Days. Let's see, do they have anything useful for us here? No, they have no particular prospects available to us. All right, to Lustrum then. Right, we know where Mr. Menagerie went. We have no investigations of the black box to perform. I suppose we could finish repairing the locomotive. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's really worthwhile not to repair it. It's only 21. Yeah. Let's go out with full health. What an occurrence. Okay, speaking of going out, let's go out. So, one thing that we haven't done is spent any time chatting with our officers. We talked to 2 of these particular officers as the last character, but we probably ought to do those interactions now, and also we ought to say what's up to the princess. Okay, its focus is elsewhere. Let us startle it and have this interaction, just in case any of this matters. Alright, here, perhaps we could gamble a bit more successfully. This guy did beat us last time, didn't he? So we've entered the hold, we've discovered this impromptu game of cards. Man, our mirrors is, like, quite high, isn't it? Isn't this one of the few things that I'm actually good at? Alright, let's go ahead and throw down. Yeah, no big surprise there. Go ahead and lose a small amount of money to him, and then we're gonna bounce. And we're going to let the game continue. So the chief engineer likes us well enough. I don't see any harm letting the guys blow off steam down below. Oh yes, and then we gotta converse with him about his weird ear. I still think it is a good idea to order a visit to the doctor, as it was last time. Okay, now, let's have a chat with this princess. Sorry, with this person who's obviously not a princess. From the tiara-crested brow downwards, there is nothing about the incognito princess that is not incandescent. She is like the sun, and about as dangerous to anything in the vicinity. Wherever the princess goes, she looks around with a surplus of curiosity and a complete lack of care. Not a great combination of traits out here in the sky. While she seems incapable of discerning between the two, the incognito princess seems intrigued by any mention of daring do or abyssal horror. Well, would this cost me my Sky story and my Tale of Terror? It may be worth it, even though those are things that we are going to obviously need to accumulate. We'll consider it once we get a Tale of Terror. So, did it say, was it east-northeast or north? Okay, east-northeast. So, we don't really have a great view of what is out in that direction. That is very unexplored. I'm thinking around here somewhere. Should be where we start. It could be quite a bit further out than that. I gotta say, though, I'm feeling more secure and powerful than I have in some time. Basically, since just before we died last. So I suppose I ought to remember what happened last time I felt this way, and not let us get in too deep. Yeah, sure, we'll go around the north side of this, this particular piece of forest. So yeah, the impromptu delay was mostly due to Shadowrun stuff. I got myself caught up GMing, and when I say got myself caught up, I mean actively campaigned for my friends to play this RPG with me. But it is quite a bit of work. This is the price I pay for wanting to GM the most mechanically complex system that I am aware of. RPGs are fun, though. It's worth the time. It just sometimes gets in the way of other engagements. Alright, where are we at here? Just gonna head through this way. For some reason, I went partially out here and then turned around. It could be that we were just running out of supplies. But it could also be that something terrible happened, Something so terrible that I've wiped it from my memories? The engine's headlights glow like a ghost upon the icy mists. But not like a real ghost, because we've seen one of those. Yeah, it might just be that I could not bear to remember the horrors we saw out here. That was spooky. Did you guys see that? That's the rock visible through the crack there really looked like a big skull. I thought we had encountered a really large floating skull. Yeah, this area is creepy as hell. Oh, hey, the lights are on here. The incognito princess is delighted. I had a doll's house this size. Much prettier, of course. Oh, of course. So, settlers who live so far beyond the edge of civilization, etc. We can eat our fill, reduce our terror. We could trade them a sky story for supplies. Or, it seems like the ability to trade munitions for bronzewood is present at a lot of these things. I say let's just zero out our terror. No reason to not do this, right? I'm going to try to be a little bit careful with our sky stories. I'm glad that I took Eastland's advice and looked at what we needed for our ambition. Otherwise, I definitely would have traded a sky story there in a way that is maybe counterproductive to our larger goals. So what is this? It's some sort of big stone walkway. I mean, if you think about how wide a train is, that staircase is, what, 3 of our locomotive wide, maybe? Whatever this was, it was quite crammed back when it was, you know, inhabited and in some state of repair. Alright. Should we? I'm gonna try fighting it. I have 2 guns. Oh, I don't have time to read the wonderful text. You all can... It's a scribe spinster. Oh dear. Well, that didn't do that much damage. I'm a bad shot. The good news is, so is he. The bad news is he has other talents. No. Ow. Can't use the lateral thrusters when overheated. Also, I'm not leading him enough. He's a little fast. Oh, he did not love that. No, turn. Okay, we maybe need to leave. We definitely need to leave. So that was worth a shot. Oh good, there's a horror over there. Let's maybe go this way. Well, I'm glad that I started pulling out in time there. I would love to have looted that locomotive, but no way we can pull that off. So we're just going to have to be very, very cautious about motion. Okay, that's a normal tackety scout. Yeah, pretty much anything that we see that moves has to be avoided here. Like, I wouldn't even feel comfortable getting anywhere near that tackety right now because he could kill us accidentally. I'm very nervous now. Maybe we should just go back to New Winchester. Repairs aren't that expensive. They're pretty expensive, but better that than dying, I suppose. And hey, we didn't get literally nothing out of this trip, right? We got spooked by some stuff. We had some good terror. We gained a very small amount of XP. And that's it. that's all we did. I also, I suppose, did uncover some of the map. So east-northeast of New Winchester, like somewhere around here, right? If it was any further north than this line, it would have just said northeast. So maybe up here, like along the edge of this, maybe beyond that horror. Let's hope not, because I am apparently not prepared to fight one of those things. Although, honestly, we don't know if our locomotive is unable to fight one of those things. What we know is I failed to fight it. I missed an awful lot of shots and wasn't really dodging all that well. It's alright. If there's any time in our career when we could afford a setback or two, this is it. The sky closes its cold jaws about you. Water freezes in the pipes. Engineers scurry to and fro with boiling kettles. Yeah, actually, that sounds like entirely miserable. Frankly, working on a space locomotive would probably just be terrible work in general. But in particular, in this area, seems bad. Ah. Could we repair at the circus? Just to, like, no, I probably should just go all the way back home. What a slow start to the episode that's gonna make. I do wish that I had picked up the blunderbuss as our second weapon instead of a second cannon. The way I fight with the, like, trying to spin on people and hit them from the side definitely is better suited to a shotgun style weapon. Oh well, we know for next time. It is still potentially the case. I guess we could try to sell our current gun and pick up one of those. Don't you come over here. Oh, oh my god. Oh my god, he's gonna ram us. Not on purpose, but it's still gonna kill me. It doesn't matter whether it was intentional. Okay. Alright, everything's fine. Everything's fine. You just gotta buy supplies and to also a damn very large and expensive engine repair. I'll tell you what, I'm really glad I remembered to repair before leaving New Winchester. Trying not to crash into anything as I'm docking. There we go. That was almost good. Alright, help. Repair my locomotive. How much? 87. You know, honestly, that's not that bad. Okay, what... well, before we do anything else, hold on. Let me make sure that we buy the supplies we need. I definitely need to do this. I'll do one of those as well. Okay, let's talk about trading out guns. What if I decided I did want one of these brass ravens? No, wait, that's not it. The brass raven's the thing that's mounted on the juggernauts. Yeah, this. The emanation. I think this is a better fit for my fighting style. It does a lot more damage, although I wonder if this damage is probably not per projectile, right? It does 24 damage if you hit with everything. But all we have to do is hit with some of it for it to be good. Okay, let's uninstall that, install that, and then can I sell off the extra Jerusalem? Okay, we can make some of the money back. So we paid a price of 50 sovereigns for our dalliance with a second Jerusalem cannon. That's not so bad, I suppose. And then I don't think anything will have changed in Wolvesy Station, but let's just have a quick look. Oh, right, the doctor here in New Winchester. Sure, that makes sense. A silver plaque on the door bearing only a name indicates this as the address of New Winchester's most exclusive practice. Oh yeah, it has to be the most exclusive one, does it? While the doctor conducts her examination, the driver asks you to update their old records with their current employment. You take a moment's pleasure in the driver's ridiculous middle name and pass over the field on gender straightforwardly crossed out. Their address was last an eye-raisingly prestigious New Winchester townhouse. You amend it to the name of your locomotive. Ah, the doctor says, peering into the driver's ear. A case of verdancy, a fungal colonization of the brain, not uncommon in the Reach. You've noticed uncharacteristic impulses, changes in behavior? She eyes the driver's skysuit and scars. The driver nods. Yes, the spores root deeply in the brain. Attempts to extract them have had less than satisfactory results. I'm afraid the best prescription is to entertain them. Take them where they want to go, see the things they want to see. Typically, a little travel does the job. They'll soon lose interest. Really, that seems extremely crazy. I mean, okay, that's what we'll do. So, let's talk to the driver and see if they're able to give us any information. Maybe the spores have spoken to them. They've only been more restless since their appointment. Yes, I could see why. You have a brain fungus. We're just going to let it live in there. It's in charge now. The incautious driver paces back and forth, clicking their tongue. It must have been the crash in the nature reserve. My father sent me there to take up a nice quiet job. I always did love botany. But when they pulled me from the wreckage, I had new dreams to follow. Thought they were mine. Now, how can I be sure? A new resolve washes over their face when they turn back, eyes sharp and sparkling with a flicker of emerald. Either way, I know where I have to go. Old Tom's Well. Give me the wheel, Captain. I have an appointment to keep. The well lies to the south. Yeah, okay. Let's see if we can't help our poor driver out a little bit. The well lies to the south. That is a direction that we have not explored thoroughly. I don't think there's anything valuable waiting for us at Titania, although it's been so long since we were there, we could probably write a new port report, and also maybe some new business will have occurred. It'd be close enough, it won't hurt to swing by. So, hold on a second. Okay. The blunderbuss is on left mouse. The Jerusalem cannon is on right. Got it. That's probably how it ought to be, honestly. What is this on my map? Oh, little hitching still. Okay, yeah, I suppose we ought to go around this side. We haven't explored this way. I am so leery of these scouts now. Wait, this will be... yeah, okay, this will be new territory. Let's just add some stuff to our map. Maybe pick up a little bit of XP. So how short are we of the 25 iron that we need? With our crew, we are 4 points short. So if we took a level up, we'd want to take a... if we took a level up and went for the purpose of gaining iron, we would want to do a story that gains iron as the major trait. Ah, yes, this is that song where the engineers remind themselves how to count to 7. I think I'd get real tired of that song real quickly, just judging from how I feel about 99 bottles of beer on the wall. Wow. This landmass or whatever it is larger than I was expecting. Well, good to have this stuff mapped out, I suppose. So we may end up going for the canning thing anyway. Because it may end up being the case that we're not going to have the money to do the thing until after we've leveled up anyway, as it is. A lush verdance encloses you, green as emeralds. What does that sound? I think I hear something living. Which just makes me very nervous out here. You could probably sail out a little further from the wall here. Partially, I'm a little concerned about getting the attention of whatever it is that's making that clicking noise out there. But I suppose we haven't seen too many living creatures that were terribly scary to fight. I'm just assuming that that ghost is what it appears to be. Yeah, man, something about the art in this game, it is able to inspire a sort of a sense of awe in me with very little, like, technical prowess. Incognito Princess. Is it the good kind of nature in the reserve, or the malodorous kind? So we found Leadbeater and Stainrod's Nature Reserve. This is not a place that we were looking for. But I'm interested. Let's see what we see. Leadbeater and Stainrod is an elderly London company, the custodians of the Empire's first supernal nature reserve. To find work with them, head for Capabilities Cabins. If you'd rather enjoy the reserve, seek the gateway of Albert's Idol. What I would rather enjoy first is the business of writing a port report. The Leadbeater and Stainrod Nature Reserve is a national park maintained at great expense by the company. Scores of researchers come here to study the nature of the Reach. Many visitors come here, too, for a pleasant holiday. I wonder if we could have our driver looked at. I mean, I know the doctor in New Winchester said that treatment was not generally a good idea, but maybe she's not up on the newest stuff? People here might be. This concrete bay is for loading and unloading locomotives. It disappoints tourists who expect to arrive at a scenic waterside. It mainly caters for the workers of the Leadbeater and Stainrod Company, who come to collect goods from the laboratories here. Cable cars link to the main reserve below and the scientific base at Capabilities Inquest. Yeah, okay, well, who else is parked here? What's going on? For a few, it's the work provided by Leadbeater and Stainrod. For the rest, the reason is the same. They're drawn by the beauty of the reserve. Some are here with tourists from across the Empire. Others are here to give their crews a respite. Others were simply passing by and couldn't resist stopping in. Okay, well, let's Let's check out the shops. So they're selling even more seeds. Well, I mean, we should buy these, right? We know that at the very least we can offload them in New Winchester. And then we probably ought to have at least one more crate of supplies on board. Alright, capabilities in quest, what's up? A clump of cabins used by Leadbeater and Stainrod's researchers as they plumb and catalog the secrets of the reserve. Enterprising captains may find work for the company. Hey, I'm an enterprising captain. The researchers of the reserve have a number of laboratories scattered among the tourist cabins. From here, they study the mysteries of the Reach. And apparently there is a call for aid. We want to study the powerful forces of nature at work in the Reach, so that we may improve the life of all citizens of the Empire. If you are an intrepid sort and willing to aid our earnest efforts, we are offering a reward for the following. Ah, I see you're interested, the phlegmatic researcher has wheeled up behind you. His left leg is raised, perhaps to reduce the very obvious swelling. The keys to understanding the remarkable principles of growth and cultivation are waiting here. We just need suitable specimens. If you aid our research, I'll ensure you're properly remunerated. Okay. What are we talking about? Exactly? He needs one of the following requests. Of course, he's happy to reward you if you bring back more. So we need a chorister bee's wings. Ants. Just any kind of ants you can find out in space. And some hybris pus. Well, I at least know where we might get that. I suppose we know there's a big hive near Titania, right? Not that I want to get involved with a bunch of giant bees. He looks exactly the way I had imagined him looking, to be perfectly honest. Okay, well, we'll, do I have to click on these to, like, take them as quests? Or, okay, no, I just need to come back with the stuff. Got it. There's nothing else to do here, right? Oh, well, we could actually talk to him a little bit more. What mysteries are you delving into, sir? Currently, I'm making a study of the orderliness of the Reach. It may be untamed, but a firm logic has guided its growth. I wish to better understand this principle. Yeah, he looks out there and he sees logic, huh? Alright, well, maybe I'm the crazy one. The Leadbeater and Stainrod Nature Reserve is an immense, untrodden hinterland of the Reach's unreasonably fecund flora and fauna. It is popular with London's more outdoorsy tourists. The park is filled with birds and flowers, trees and woodland creatures, streams and bumbling insects, and other insidious dangers. Visitors are not allowed to venture too deeply into the reserve without an escort. Okay, well, let's get an escort then. The only person available to help you is a romantic ornithologist. He is lean and plainly dressed, with a long, wiry beard. The other researchers introduce you. Did you know our colleague here, one indicates the ornithologist, is looking for the mythical bird whose beak pecks away at the mountain of eternity? They stifle giggles. The ornithologist maintains his smile and gestures toward the forest path. I'll be glad to show you the reserve. I hope you'll join me later. You can often find me at the watchtower. Okay, so he's a bit of a laughingstock. Yeah, let's take a quick trip into the reserve. Show me around. I want to see what's going on here. Oh, hey, cool. The romantic ornithologist clasps his hands with quiet delight when he sees you. I've found a most wonderful place. Shall we? You delve into the reserve together. The birds sing around you, the flowers offer sweet perfumes. A pleasing breeze tumbles through a glade and whistles around a mountain bend. You know what, maybe we're going to end up with so many sky stories that we can afford to trade them for things. And then I guess let's also go and visit him in his watchtower, watching for his bird. He nods as you enter. He nods hello as you enter. Welcome. Tea? No. How about you tell me what's up with this bird? Well, there are other birds I could study, of course, he says, shrugging. But that's not the point. We had thought this bird a myth, the bird who wears away at the mother of mountains pebble by pebble. But miners have seen it. The heavens are home to improbable things. Okay. Hold on, that was it? What did I just, immediately leave? Why don't we ask him some more questions? Hey, what about all those scientists who were obviously mocking you? What's their deal? The ornithologist tilts his head from side to side. I get on better alone. It's not that I don't enjoy company, but... He scratches his beard. I think it's a difference in philosophy. They want to conquer nature and her secrets. I want to be her confidant. Okay, well, I had one more question to ask him. I wish he would stop kicking me out. How do you find the wilderness? He smiles like a child. It is my home, he says. My church. This, like, how do you find the wilderness? That's a very British phrasing of that question. So we could just walk into the reserve alone? There's a real possibility of getting into trouble here, but we could walk out with some interesting stories. There are reasons why tour guides are considered essential here. The reserve is not for the faint-hearted. Most visitors will soon find themselves desperately lost. You are fortunate in that while you spend a while exploring to find only nothing, you are still able to return to safety. Okay, well, apparently we've exhausted that one. And that's it, right? That's really all we have. Yeah. Okay, well, I'll let this guy know if we see a giant magic bird anywhere. It's nice to, refill supplies, I suppose. And hey, that port report's 100 sovereigns. Okay, let's just try to find this well. I wonder if it's a well, like, in the, sort of the classical sense? It'd be a weird thing for the... Weird thing to just be sitting out here. I wonder how long it's going to be before the dreadnoughts start taking more of an interest in us. It's starting to be the case that we have hindered the work of the crown in this area quite a bit. Whoa, what is that? It's just a big, huge... Yeah, it's just a big, huge thing in bronzewood. Well, if only we had that mining drill. Honestly, though, the hold space, I think, is probably pretty important. So... yeah, we probably ought to head back up around the north side of this. If we are indeed still trying to find this well. It does seem like the mining drill probably results in an awful lot of extra money and stuff. Doesn't help us much if we can't carry it home, though. And who knows, maybe we'd be better off moving up to a new locomotive before buying upgrades? I suppose we'll just have to examine our options next time we're in New Winchester with a ton of cash. Boy, this is a really large... Maybe we would have been better off going around the south. Because we're probably talking about something down here, right? Well, I guess let's swing past Titania, because we know that there's something grave and unlooted over there in that area. And then there is still some stuff to reveal. Do still wish we had a minimap, though. Maybe we could hire somebody at port to just hold the map open, sort of in the corner of my vision while I'm steering the ship. You know, an old-timey minimap, the classical way. Oh, little oversteer there. Yeah, this area is very... I suppose all the noises we're hearing are just supposed to be all the wildlife that still exists in this part of the Reach. It all makes me very nervous. Yeah, it doesn't hurt us to get another port report either. So I guess we're just going to be able to write port reports for areas that we've written them before, as long as we wait a little while. I suppose, like, at this tech level, it's not that easy to know what's happening in other parts of the world. You would really need reporting pretty much constantly, right? So why did I figure out that there was a lootable thing over here, but then not loot it? What was the cause of that? Maybe I didn't actually see it. Maybe it was like just off screen, but we moved close enough to reveal it on the map. Oh, this is not the one I was headed to, but we'll take this too. The Vigilante. Seems that we're not the only ones who have bad luck out here. Well, we could mourn the dead, which will probably lower terror, or we could attempt to get in there and probably have something terrible happen. Let's just mourn the dead, as is proper. Your terror has been reduced. That was not very much of a reduction, I'll say that. Oh. Come on. Don't let him shoot me at point-blank range. I'd really love it if we could get him to... Really love it if we could get him to fire, because it does seem like there's a fair cooldown on their attack. I'm just going to try to sort of swing around his side here and give him the old blunderbuss. Oh, I almost got him with both weapons. Yeah, I think this weapon suits my improvised fighting style pretty well. And we actually are able to hit with almost all the projectiles like that. Well, I don't think we need the small amount of sovereigns in the safe here. Let's explore the captain, see if we can't find something... Or the captain. Let's explore the cabin, see if we can't find something cool. Even with our super low level of iron, this is still fairly likely to work. The cabin door... Okay, yes, we've read this before. Some more salon-stewed gossip, which is actually quite a useful thing to have. Turns out the major currency of our adventure here is just going to be knowing things. It is good to know things, even if it is not necessarily always good to be the guy who knows the things. If that adds up. Okay, this is not what was marked on my map. I didn't think so. Is it this place? An abandoned signal box. The signal box is shrouded in gray. Close up, you see that the box is covered in delicate webs studded with cocoons. From the blue and white pattern of one bundle, it appears a spider has trapped a teapot. Inside, beneath a desk covered with rusted levers, is a luggage trunk. Captains in dire need can borrow from the cash inside, but custom dictates they must later replenish it. Well, we should definitely read the ledger. Captains who withdraw from the cash should note their name and ship and what they took. Occasionally, they add anecdotes. It's like a geocache. The handwriting is poor but legible. Captain Lockwood withdrew from the cache, citing desperate measures. There is a column for miscellaneous notes. The writing is blotched and smeared, as if the writer had tried to wipe tears from the page. What is legible speaks of a place as dark as sleep, as quiet as a forgotten story. They barely escaped. They want to return. Boy, that doesn't seem like a good idea. Well... The captain who takes from a cache must later replenish it. This may mean enemy aids enemy, rival succors rival, but better that than bad luck. I don't actually want to take anything, I don't think. And you know what? There could be stained glass in here or something. Let's at least look. The luggage trunk is sturdy and vast, large enough to have held a modest family's worldly goods on their journey through the avid horizon. Left here, it still serves those braving the wilderness. So we could take some supplies or some fuel, or just change our mind. I'm just gonna leave this stuff. It's possible that there's no such thing as bad luck. I certainly don't believe that something like this would actually cause bad luck in real life, although in real life I also would make sure to replenish what I took, just because that's the decent thing to do. But it could totally be real in the game, right? I think we're fine. We don't need to take anything here. The Stokers work vigorously. This place makes them yearn for the riotous camaraderie of New Winchester. Oh, we're not even that far. Something else up here. So yeah, our map fills in slightly further away than we can see. This looks like something I would have to, use an assaying glass for. Okay, well, that's a thing I'd like to pick up. We'll have to look into that. For now, let's head back to that big flower. We gotta make sure that we're checking to see what people need at the various ports, too. Another way that information can function as our currency. I guess I want to go around the north side of the flower because we want to come out to the south. I don't remember exactly where the port is. It looks like it's on the southeastern side. I wonder where that hive of bees is. The place does look mighty impressive. Nope. Okay, there we at that. We sort of came in the middle of the dock. I'm learning. I'll get there eventually. Uh-oh. Titania is under siege. Chorister bees flood the streets and pedals. The thrashing of their wings is the drumbeat of apocalypse, and the people flee in panic from their mighty stingers. But there is no safe harbor and no respite. All is lost. Well, we could flee the bee-apocalypse, or we could throw down. We got a 50-50 chance of fighting off some of the bees. I would have an extremely hard time doing this in real life, but fortunately, this character is not exactly me. I think we're going to go for the coin flip. Think of what a hero we will be. Think of how we will be regarded. And if I get horribly stung, that's probably a tale of terror. Look at this. We're great at fighting. I don't know what that canister, or what that canning attachment was talking about. Plainsong drowns the lamentation, and the fury and the mind. All the world joins death's hymnal. Those who proudly defy their fate, and those who beg for wretched mercy. Those who raise their arms, those who buckle their knees. The Chorister Hive takes the lyrics of poets yet unwritten, the unsung songs from lips now forever silent. It is only iron and fire that quietens the voice of carnage. But lo, the song ends only by its own accord. Once the nectar is gathered, the hive departs, and there is a lasting silence. Well, a free gourd of Chorister nectar is a not inconsiderable prize. The port unfurls itself. Little remains of the port now that the hive has departed. Crystal domes are cracked. The buildings beneath them lie in ruins. Survivors pick through the rubble for salvage, while a philosopher proclaims on the nature of destruction and rebirth. The more practical poets glare daggers in their direction as they attempt to rebuild. The damage from the Chorister Hive doesn't appear to have dampened the mood. Boy, it'd have to be some hive of bees to dampen the mood. Well, let's definitely write a report about the horrible thing we just saw. And then, I guess, a new start for Titania. 3 of Titania's most prominent citizens are arguing about the new direction of the port post-bee-apocalypse. The rhapsodic mayor looks relieved to see you. Ah, Captain, perhaps you can settle a little matter for us. We've agreed that we need to choose one style and stick with it, but... She sighs, gesturing at her fellow council members, the melancholy poet and the stone-faced sculptor. Well, we find ourselves at an impasse. Your thoughts? I have never been to Albion or Eleutheria, so sorry, I can't really help with this. I don't know anything about architecture. Alright, the Bazaar would love it if I would supply them with... I can give them this one right now, though, right? Yeah, we absolutely should do that. I don't want to carry that around, and that's a huge amount of money. And here, we probably ought to at least buy a thing of supplies. We don't need 2 gourds of Chorister nectar, right? We only have a reason to have 1. I'm going to buy another crate of supplies and another crate of fuel, I guess. So when we get back, we're actually going to have quite a bit of money from turning in port reports and stuff, assuming we actually find the other things we're looking for. So just south, we were told, probably down here. God, I cannot wait to have more space in our hold. Alright, we probably don't need to check out what is east. Honestly, what is east is probably just the damn hive. Let's get out of here. You know, I guess I'm assuming that the hive must be very close to the flower, but maybe that's not a safe assumption. Also, it's remarkable how little our terror has gone up, considering the fight with the giant bees. You'd think that would really have an effect. Oh, something's moving. Oh, okay, it's just a reach marauder. Ooh, okay. Narrowly escaped there. Marauders have made an encampment here, have they? Oop, that was bad. That was bad. Okay. I managed to not get shot, at least. Yeah, this blunderbuss is very helpful. This was a good purchase. Alright, we could recover its weaponry. Oh! The bridge is in ruins, the hold is crumpled, but its main gun has survived. An engineering crew could remove it intact. Hell yeah. A rare find. Your crew returned in one piece, bearing the spoils of your victory. It was a right devil to remove it, Captain, says the lead engineer. Hope you'll make good use of it. The Marauder Cannon launches chunks of jagged, superheated rock via a brutally basic mechanism. Simple, ruthless, effective. I'm a big fan of simple and ruthless and effective, frankly. I did that mostly because even if we had found the least valuable cannon, it would have sold for more than we would have gotten out of the safe. So 25 damage, but 50 heat. So we can take on... I'm assuming this is about 100 heat, because we know that 4 Jerusalem shots overheats us. Yeah, it seems like probably it's about 100. So this is quite a bit more heat, and it's not bad on damage, really. The fire-eyed maid of smoky war, all hot and bleeding, we will offer them. A rickety weapon that indiscriminately lobs smoking balls of superheated debris. I'm down. Let's try it. Oh, I can't change... Yeah, that makes sense. Fair enough. Well, we'll dock, and then change our equipment later. Who is this? This could be that Marauder. Or not that Marauder, that Juggernaut. But no, it was a Marauder, and that's actually really good news for me. Oh, don't you just crash into me because you're mad. Because you're mad that I'm such a good shot, and also my locomotive looks so much better than yours. Actually, I do kind of like the style of the Marauder vessels. Oh. Okay, I did hit him with the Jerusalem on that. That was a pretty reasonable volley. I don't know if this is like an actually good fighting style relative to what we could be doing. Definitely don't just sail directly toward them. Oh, I'm definitely shootable. Haha, you fool! He believed me. He thought I knew whether or not I was shootable. Alright, well, let's go ahead and explore the captain's cabin. I'm not a big fan of the raid the safe option. Even more... Oh, 2 gossip that time. Well done. It's so nice of these Marauders to, first of all, go to all the effort of knowing things, and secondly, to write down the things they know. So this is the Marauder port, right? We can't stop here. Fortunately, the guns don't seem to be functional. Alright, let's try to get around the bottom side of this, I guess? I don't know where else the well could be. Aha, you fool! Oh, bad time for a hitch. Ah, no, if I just hadn't started moving forward, we would have been fine there. He led me, and I just ran forward right into it. Oh. It seems like other locomotives have way better ability to just sort of move sideways than I do, but it could honestly be them drifting against their will. It looks like maneuvering from here. Yeah, let's loot the hold. I don't think we're damaged enough to warrant going for a haul right now. A clasped jewelry box. Something precious has been concealed. A sheaf of letters falls from a concealed compartment. The pages are rife with scandal. Well, now we know everybody's business. We have a lot of dirty laundry, but I'll be honest with you, I kind of wish we were just finding cargo. Okay. Another big old thing of bronzewood and a star-maddened explorer. This fellow might know a tale of terror or two. No, hey, don't drift away from me. You drift back over here, young man. Yeah, see, he's got the ability to, like, reverse and sort of swing his ship around that I wish I had. Maybe he doesn't really have weapons. I'm trying to be, like, cautious of getting too close to the front of his ship, yeah, in case of that. Okay, really, this would be a great time for the game not to be hitching. Oh, Blunderbuss is pretty good against that ramming strategy. Okay, on this one we gotta scavenge for parts, for sure. Okay, 10 hull. Not great, but it'll do. Sure is unfriendly out here. Ah! Must you? Ah. That was a real good opportunity to shoot him with my shotgun. Stop being so fast. This is definitely a good time to take advantage of our superior range. Also, to shoot him with the other gun whenever he gets close. Ow. Well, we're definitely going to have to keep scavenging for parts until I get better at fighting these guys. I guess we're netting positive. Alright, apparently we've picked up something grim over here. I'm going to go ahead and throw out the bat. I sort of forgot about the bat until just now. What's he got? Okay, he's got probably the location of a port. That's my guess. Wreck of the Parsifal. Oh my. A once proud engine drifts here, riven by a destructive growth of fungus. Wow, that's a big train. Should we touch this? The engine drifts unhappily through the sky. Some unholiness keeps the front of the engine tethered to the rest, despite the eruptions of corpse-white fungus that divide the train. The locomotive's side is scored with black scars. The name Parsifal can be made out in brass letters on its side. The first engine through the avid horizon, a navigator whispers. London's pride once. Captained by Lieutenant Commander Percy Blythe. The engine was to chart new horizons beyond Albion. Never came back. Well, we could board it. The doors are sealed, the lights dim. It drifts in the currents, mangled by fungal extrusions. Yeah, alright, let's see what we can find out. Bolt cutters and pry bars are required to break the outer door. Its locking mechanism is antiquated and slickened with an oily substance. You wrench the door open and are immediately greeted with a cloud of yellowing spores. Your vision blurs just as your navigator torches them, igniting the air with burning fungus. A few gaslights flicker on the walls. The scratchy sounds of a gramophone can be heard. We may have just gotten infected. I sure hope I was wearing a helmet. Oh dear. Spores drift through broken carriages like dying fireflies. Recruitment posters bearing Her Renewed Majesty's face molder on the walls. Music, scratchy but distinct, echoes through the empty carriages. A great wall of pulsing fungus separates the back of the engine from the front. Alright, let's not breach the fungus until after we've had a look around. In the first design for London's engines, the captain always roomed toward the back of the train, for their protection. Plush seats surround a decaying paper map, placed on a mahogany table. Drinks, some floating with mildew, have been poured in glasses around the table. Maps hang from sprouting fronds like peeling wallpaper. Spores float gently through the room. Logbooks lie scattered about the table. None date from after 1897. The engine's destination was to be Traitor's Wood. The last entry regards a stop at Hybris, which they named High Brasil. Ah, okay. Something was brought on board. The captain's bunk has collapsed in a pile of rotten wood and infected bedsheets, wet with fungal growths. So they picked up something at Hybris, and it suddenly grew. We've gained terror! When Britain first at heaven's command arose from out the azure main, this was the charter of the land, and guardian angels sang this strain. Oh good, I'm composing a poem. I mean, I guess that's what I'm here to do, right? Let's investigate the armory. An explorer engine like the Parsifal would have been stocked for all eventualities. This could be very good for us. The solid iron walls of the armory are stained and rotted with sporing bodies. Lockers hang open, revealing decaying and antiquated sky suits. The old design with thermal chestplate and brass buttons for fastenings. Several of your crew coo appreciatively, but back away when a prodding of one suit reveals a fruiting colony of golden black mushrooms has sprouted within. Amongst the outdated and unused weaponry, you uncover a trove of novels. Fanciful stuff, but all concerned with the possibilities of space travel and the interactions between modern man and the alien. Well, the only way forward is through. You have a 41% chance of success. I certainly can't just not find out. Uh-oh. Sabers serve to hack away the plump, bulging intrusions. It peels away like flesh carved from a roasted pig. The smell is considerably worse, however. The work is slow going. These twitching sheaths of fungus are of enormous size and depth. An American stoker remembers the redwood trees of his youth. Eventually, enough of a path is cleared to allow you to progress. It's a tight squeeze between the walls of livid flesh, allowing you to see the bulges within up close. Bulges the same shape and size as you. And then you are through. By the way, if there are any viewers out there who are not familiar with redwood trees, look those up online. They're kind of wild. Alright, well, we're gaining terror pretty rapidly here. I think we can get to 100 before dying, but we certainly don't want to get super high. The front of the engine is even more infected with sprouting mushrooms and sporing fungal growths. The engine room lies ahead, seemingly the source of the persistent movement. Before that, however, is a haze of spores, rendering the corridor ahead entirely noxious. Well, let's explore the crew cabins, even though we know we're going to gain terror from doing so. In locomotives as old as this, the crew are always assigned bunks near the engine room. Sounds of the gramophone are louder here. Battered metal and tormented wood paneling comprise the confines in which the crew dwelled. Chubby toadstools round as pastries dot the cramped bunk beds. Mementos of home are scattered about the fruiting debris. Slim volumes of Arnold and Blake, vials of honey, and engravings of simple domestic scenes can be found under every bunk. You also uncover a little tally chart on a folded-up bit of paper. It seems the crew were organizing a whip round for their commander's retirement present. They'd settled on a plot of land in Port Prosper. This is very grim. I'm very nervous right now. Like, I have goose flesh. So we're unlikely to easily get into the, get past the next level of fungus. Passing through will be hazardous to the health, and it's probably going to be really bad. But I think we can afford to take the hit, and I just have to know. Yeah, no big surprise that. You go alone. Your crew disappear behind you, lost in a haze of orange and gold. Above, sacks of sporing fungus encrusted to the metalwork began to erupt. Showers of spore and viscous liquids render the terrain still more hazardous. You feel a peculiar sensation. Your hands tingle, as though wishing to reach out, to touch the fungus, as though for one more drink. You increase your speed. Yeah, it's a good instinct. There's a cry behind you. You turn to see one of your crew, a particularly distractible signaler, has entered the miasma after you. Her hands are in a mound of virulent gold fungus. Then, so is the rest of her. The scene is lost to another shower of spores. You press on, toward the engine room. Another crew member lost. Okay. We're definitely infected, right? We have whatever it is. The spores are in the brain. The engine room is before you. Light and music spill from under the door, queasy and persistent. The thick steel door is scored with bullet holes, and is held in place by tendrils of ropey white fungus. Ugh. As you approach, you notice the damage done to the walls, riddled with bullets, old stains on the carpet. An attack was mounted on the engine room. You can hear music loud and clear from inside. An eerie green light pours through the hinges like floodwater. You push open the door. Well, if this doesn't end up with us having some tales of terror, I don't know what will. You have entered the engine room of the Parsifal. May God have mercy on your soul. Oh boy. The engine room is cold as a sunless sky. Hey, that's the name of the game. Your breath hangs in long chains before you. The boiler is off. The infernal gramophone sits atop the boiler. It's responsible for all this. The music is no better for being closer to it. Before you lies a dance macabre of fungus and corpses, hand in frond. On the wall, suspended by fungus, is a body in a captain's uniform. Alright, we're going to check out what remains of the commander, or the lieutenant commander, sorry, in a second here. What else can we see? Yep, more terror. The corpses bear bullet wounds. They are unmarred by fungus, decaying in peace. Amongst the rank insignia, you spot a first officer, a chief engineer, and a conductor. All died violent deaths. There are far too few to amount to the full crew. The boiler, a battered, antiquated, wheezing contraption, stands silent and broken. Strips of iron hang in front of it, as though it had suffered an explosion. Inside, you find fungus amidst the ashes. Clumps and clusters of tendrils that sprout from the charcoal. When burnt, the spores would have infected the whole engine. Send her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. Well, we're only at 46 terror. Still got some room to get horrified, I guess. The corpse of the finest officer of his generation hangs from the wall, suspended by chains of pale fronds. His skin is sallow, and there are strands of golden fungus across his cheek, as though a sun sits beneath the skin. His eyes open. Percy Blythe looks down on you. Blue fruiting heads speckle his beard like hanging seaweed. Next to him, the gramophone crackles out its dreary anthems of years past. His mouth opens too wide as he speaks. His jaw cracks. Yeah, this is terrifying. I am concerned about this. Lieutenant Commander Percy Blythe lives. Who didst brood upon the chaos dark and rude, and bid its angry tumult cease, and give for wild confusion peace? Oh, hear us when we cry to thee, for those in peril on the sea. Yes, peril. I feel that I am in peril at this moment. Suspended from chains of fungus, Percy Blythe begins to stir, improbably alive. He fixes his gold-flecked eyes on you as his mouth begins to move, as though wanting to speak. Well, it turns out we have no option but to listen. If there was a button that said, "Run screaming from the cabin" on it, I would at least consider clicking it. He groans. His mouth opens impossibly wide, and a cloud of yellow spores emerge. I am all that's left. An oily liquid begins to drip from his left eye. I am a child of the grave garden. I don't want to pierce the mood, but I definitely, while I'm reading out loud, I'm looking ahead a little bit to try to make sure that I'm accentuating things correctly and preparing, which is why I sometimes read words that we haven't gotten to yet. But reading over this very quickly, I thought for a second that this said Olive Garden, and it really sapped some of the terror from the scene. The voice alters, becoming more clipped, more static, like that of the voices on the gramophone. I am Lieutenant Commander Percy Blythe. I am captain of the Parsifal. My task was to explore the wilderness and return home with new discoveries. He groans, as though weeping. I am all that remains. I want to go home. And when the siege is over, we to the town repair. The townsmen cry, "Hurrah, boys! Here comes a grenadier." That's not really a rhyme. It's sort of a slant rhyme there. Okay, can we help? Can we help him, I suppose, is sort of preceded by the question, is there really a him left to help? The lieutenant commander of the Parsifal has survived whatever befell his engine, maybe. He is the key to understanding whatever occurred here. He's also probably more fungus than man at this point. Well, we're certainly talking to him before we decide his fate. I'm assuming every time I talk to him I'll gain terror. Yeah. Whatever, we're hearing everything. I have the room to spare. I will take on this suffering. We met the children on Hybris. We sought to know each other. Wanted to go to the wood. Wanted to see what was kept from us. Percy is drooling as he speaks. Gramophone clicks as yet another patriotic dirge begins to play. Percy Blythe struggles in his bonds, pulling himself up to stand a little straighter. We made contact on Hybris. The fungus was so bright, so beautiful. His eyes shine gold. I brought it aboard, God forgive me. I wanted the crew to see, to know. Oil leaks from the hollow eyes. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Some came willing. Others refused to join us. We had to... He breaks off into silence, staring away into the middle distance. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna listen to all of it. So that was asking what happened here. We definitely don't want to double-click anything, because I don't need to take on any additional terror. Okay, so what happened to you? How is it you're still alive? Because it's been... That said 1890-something. It's 1905 now? What is it? It's been like 9 years? I think it said 1896? Percy Blythe launches into a long, meandering, slurred story of children and gardens, of a cruel king who needed but did not love his subjects, despite their love for him, of knowledge denied and growth checked, of tyranny and freedom, of grief and betrayal and longing. The music bursts into sudden life. Percy jerks and fixes you with an infected eye. I was stupid. I thought we would be welcome here. And we were welcomed. We were loved. Children, the Verdants, they wanted us. He begins to sob. It is a sad, squelching sound. I should not touch him. Something of the man remains. I mean, he's still... Okay, so if he was, like, completely brained over by the fungus, he wouldn't have said, God forgive me, when he mentioned bringing the fungus aboard. He would have just been like, oh, we found the fungus and it's so wonderful, so I brought it aboard so everybody could know the wonder, right? But I can't reach out and... I mean, my sky suit's still on. I'm gonna keep my distance. Ugh. The oily burbling goes on for some time. The lieutenant commander becomes rapidly incoherent. Sometimes he weeps for Mother, other times for London. He believes himself disgraced twice over. Eventually, the embarrassing affair comes to a stop, as Percy Blythe is left blowing clouds of spores from his mouth, his eyes vacant. This is not going well. So he wants to go home. I mean, we kind of know what he wants, but let's go ahead and see if anything new can be gleaned here. Lieutenant Commander Percy Blythe lets out a low moan and slumps forward. The chains of fungus adjust to accommodate this despair. Home, he slurs, like a man drunk demanding another drink. On Hybris, Mother spored us there. She set out her children across the stars to learn. The traitors would. We were forbidden from entering there, but now its king is dead. But this craft failed before we could arrive. The body jerks as though shocked. Percy's face rises to face you. London, he rasps. London. Can we, I mean, I sort of don't care for the crown. I'm not concerned about the can we take him to London. Sorry, I'm not concerned about the him going to London part of can we take him to London. I am very concerned about the him on my ship in any capacity part of it, however. So I suppose, well, okay, one more question. The answer is almost certainly no, but I guess maybe he'll tell us that some part of it is still useful. There's some salvage we could have here. No, the lieutenant commander hisses. That wasn't much of a hiss that I did there. His eyes rolling in his head. Sabotage, mutiny, ignorance, no fuel, children too greedy, spread too fast, like fire. The engine is broken, the crew all gone. I am alone. His head lolls as though his neck were broken. Well, if it makes you feel any better, man, you are extremely not alone. This cannot continue. Lieutenant Commander Percy Blythe, decorated hero of London's forces, first captain through the avid horizon, gazes at you, slack-jawed and unseeing. Please, he rasps, take me home, or finish this. He twitches. We just wanted to know what was kept from us in Trader's Wood. Why did our king not love his children? We've uncovered the fate of the Parzival, now to decide. Well, we could burn it all down. It might be mercy. It might be mercy for more than just the captain here. We could try to take him back to Hybris. We could try to take him back to London. Or we could try to take him to Trader's Wood, which is a place we need to go anyway. I'm just very nervous about taking him on board the locomotive. Right? What version of this ends with our locomotive not befalling the same fate? I guess... So he said the children spread too quickly. Maybe the children are aware that they spread too quickly and they wouldn't do the same thing to us. But that just means that they would try more stealthily to slowly take over the entire thing, right? We don't know how long that would take, though. I mean, we're talking a matter of days. How fast can a fungus grow in days? We shouldn't, right? Okay, what would my character do here? My character is a scholar who was so drawn to the mysteries of these forbidden texts that they were willing to risk prison, which they eventually received, in order to know what was contained within them. Hard to imagine such a character deciding, no more, let's burn it all down, even though I personally would definitely, at this point, say no more, let's burn it all down. No, we have to know about Trader's Wood. We gotta know about this king. I'm very curious about this. This might be the stupidest thing I've ever done in a video game, but I'm gonna click this button here that says, let him on my train. The remnant of Percy Blythe does not appear to register your response. His head bobs with the tilting of the locomotive. You begin cutting the body down. It is a task only made more difficult by the discovery that most of the far wall is in fact a rubbery sort of mushroom, whose weak yellow flesh is entirely embedded in Blythe's back. You are forced to cut down a whole section of the wall, exposing the metal shell of the Parsifal, and carry Blythe out upon it. On board your engine he mutters and twitches as though diminished by the separation. You leave the Parsifal drifting alone in the sky. Percy Blythe is aboard my locomotive, and I've never been less happy. Okay. That could be Trader's Wood. Let's look at the journal. No, it does not give me a direction. Alright, well, let's head toward whatever it is that the bat found over here. Let us hope that he has found us a port. I really, really, really don't like having this man/thing on my ship. This is not where I'm going. Must you? Right now? Really? And I still managed to miss. I'm basically just firing a shotgun at this point. Okay. Got him. Examine the captain's logs to find a sky story or a tale of terror. But not super likely to work. And we're still kind of not doing great on hull. As valuable as this is, with 36% chance of success, and my concern being that we would get terror if we failed this roll, maybe we should just scavenge for parts? No, I have to. We need these so badly. Oh, hey, we just hit the roll. Awesome. We got a sky story. The captain's door is covered in knots and crosses. So, it transpires, is the rest of his cabin, his logs, and his body. In every game, the knots won. Your search turns up a few valuables, and you return to your engine. Knots and crosses is tic-tac-toe. Or people who are not familiar with this, but are familiar with the name tic-tac-toe. Stop, don't crash into that. Okay. I don't remember who goes first in... Is it X or O? It should be very difficult for the knots to win. If it is in fact X going first. That's a strange thing. I guess that shows us true madness. This is not a port. I'm starting to get worried. Oh boy. Okay. So we could try to gain supplies, but also terror. We're getting a little low on supplies. My concern, of course, is that gaining terror right now is not awesome. We're good at this, though. We could just destroy it to reduce terror. We're not super likely to succeed. We could study it, and we're good at studying. Let's study it. Please, no terror. Okay, a vision of the heavens. Cool. Yes, we've seen this text before. So... the well could be over here, wherever the border of this is. Maybe around the south side. I'm going to send the bat out again. Game only saves at a port. Reluctantly, your bat confesses to having found something. That's not a port, though. We've been over there. That might be a new shipwreck or something. So, here's my question. If we try to go around here and it turns out there's not anything, I guess we have time to get back to Titania, probably. We'll just swing past the wreck. As soon as I got off of it, I started driving directly away from it, which I think is a very understandable thing to have done, but perhaps not the most valuable one. I don't suppose... Okay. I was just seeing... You know, Percy Blythe's been on a locomotive for a long time. I was just wondering if maybe even in his diminished state, he might be of use to us. But no, I suppose let's keep the compartment that he's in totally barred. You know, it's possible that we won't be able to get around the bottom of this. I just sort of assumed, but it looks like maybe this is in fact a dead end. In more way than one. More ways than one. More way than the way that we know about. Okay, well, that, I suppose, means we gotta get back to the Titania. Down to the last dregs of our supplies. The unlabeled tins and the wormy biscuits. Hey, you, fight me! Oh dear, wind. That was a pretty good fight. Oh. Perhaps one did not succumb to the star madness. No, let's loot the hold. I don't need crew, and I would love to find, like, anything valuable. What could it be? A faintly luminescent cage. We now have 2 uncanny specimens. The things being transported in this cage did not survive the journey, though they do still glow faintly. Alright, I think, given our supply situation, we have to just go back to where we know for sure there's a port. We will run out into the dark next time. We certainly have made some kind of progress. Oh god. Tensions are high and the crew are making mistakes. The preternaturally fertile seeds of the Reach must be stored with the utmost care. A flicker of light, a lap of moisture, and they burst into violent growth. Like the sack in your hold, from which questing vines have groped, knotting around your cargo. Oh, boy. Well, you know what? Let us remove the sprouting sack to the galley. I don't care about saving the seeds, but I would love to get some supplies. We could order the crew to try to cut away the growths and salvage them, or we just throw away any sacks that show signs of quickening. Your crew would prefer this. Let's do this. We gotta eat. A little bit of terror gained, but +1 supplies, and honestly, this means that we effectively paid 25 sovereigns and 2 terror for a box of supplies, which is not a bad deal at all. Things are bad when terror is high. Yeah. I'm really glad that we got an opportunity there to gain a crate worth of supplies. That may turn out to be really valuable. We can try to see what this is. I mean, we know it's not going to be a port, though. Trying to figure out, like, if I think it's even worth it to send the bat out anywhere. Probably not. Let's just get back, and we'll figure it all out afterward. We have enough supplies that we don't have to, like, be moving at maximum speed all the time. We can afford to fight stuff like this, where we have a reasonable chance of gaining value. Oh no, I'm definitely gonna get shot here. Aha, you fool! He's fallen for my ruse. Oh, I missed it, the Jerusalem cannon. Come on, come on, come on. Ow. Not what I was looking for. There we go. Probably just hull, huh? Yeah, let's just strip the engine for materials. Oh, hey, we got all the way back up to 30. Okay. So yeah, we can afford to do that a couple more times if it occurs. I know we've had to take a lot of salvage as just hull this time, but honestly, I think we've come out pretty well from all the fighting we've done. I'm not going to veer all the way off for that fight, but I will fight this guy. Surprise! Ow. You suck. By which I mean you're doing a better job than most of my enemies. Uh-oh. Ow. Really thought that last volley was going to do the job. He's remarkably hardy. Usually once they start belching flame, you hardly have to touch them. Let's just get back all the hull that I lost during that fight. But after there were visible flames, he took another partial shotgun volley and a direct hit from the cannon. I guess some of those locomotives are better built than others. Okay, we're getting close. The big leaves are a good sign. I am resisting the urge to open up the map again because I know it will only make this take more time. Oh god. Uh-oh. Okay. They don't seem to love being shot at. Ow. Okay. Took a little bit of a touch there. Oh, the thing in the mist. A sudden jolt. I think we hit something, Archivist, your driver observes. The mists are thick. You could turn back and search for it. It was a bee. I already know what it was. It was a bee. So we could just keep going. We could double back. It would use up fuel. There might be danger, but perhaps whatever you hit was valuable. Or perhaps it needs help. So this will take one of our fuel. I don't think we should do that given our fuel situation. Offer whatever it was to the burrower below. The burrower once tunneled paths through the sky. She is always hungry. Reduce your terror by 50, but increase your nightmares. Offer whatever it was to the waste waif, which is similar. The waste waif occupies abandoned places. It is lonely, but spurns company. It likes toys. I am concerned about the fact that we might gain the attention of some things that I don't want to do any of this. Just keep driving. We need to get out of here. I gain terror. Great. Better not to know. Whatever treasure, horror, or debris wandered into your path, you will leave it to the mists. This would be a great time for the hitching to not happen. Okay, well, we sure did kill all those bees. So we could try to collect a pristine pair of wings, which I think is probably the wise move here. We could send someone out to collect the nectar. We could listen to its death hymn. They say it contains secrets if you can bear to listen all the way to the end. We gain experience. We're guaranteed to get the value here. We gain experience, and I bet there's a chance of something else, right? Story or vision or something. But I kind of want to take this. We also could get a trophy, but we already have a trophy. Yeah, let's take a pristine pair of wings. Something tells me this won't be the only time we get the chance to fight some of those. Okay. Oh no. Ow. Okay. Titania is not easy to dock at right at this moment. We could just go back to Leadbeater and Stain Rods. We have one crate of supplies left, which was enough for us to get from like here-ish to there. I'm not wild about our chances of making it all the way. I'm going to try to go around the flower and see if we can't just make a landing. It didn't look like there were more bees. Huh, had I not gotten the XP for Valentine Square, really? Last of the fuel. Port Avon's further. Yeah, we're going back to the research station. We'll bring them these wings. Hopefully they'll be really happy to see us. Oh, you're joking. Okay, well, they don't seem to be great at turning. So as long as we don't get any closer. Something to crave out here. Oh. I'm stealing your honey. We're going to Port Avon. Good lord. Well, we have this trophy. They'll probably be happy to see us, right? Do we have any tea left? I don't have any tea left. We have gossip and stuff. They'll be fine with us. There's something grave here. Let's swing past. Are these ruins beautiful ones? Oh no, this isn't a saying thing. Ah. Error now, 76. Well, I'll tell you what, if we can make it back to just any friendly port, a lot of our troubles are resolved. We have a ton of money and valuable cargo and stuff. All we have to do is get to Port Avon before the crew start eating each other or anything. Or me. Or, even worse, me. Are we allowed to stop here? We are. Okay. Settlers who live far beyond the... Oh. Interesting. This homestead is almost hidden beneath a growth of wild sprouting foliage, as a victim of the fairy tale curse. Well, apparently they have ants. Sure. We've collected ants, a few shovelfuls of dirt into a glass tank, and you've thousands of the crawlers to bring in. Okay, hey, that's really good. We're doing well on some fronts, at least. Oh, thank God, Port Avon. Definitely never been happier to see it. Ooh, okay. Well, we have business at Port Avon. We have things to do, but I think that is an issue for Monday. For now, that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time to see if any of the ruinous decisions I've made finish catching up with us. And we'll see you then.